Hi everyone. Today I will be reviewing The Expansion Project by Sardarian. This script was featured on the 2017 Blacklist and was also purchased by Warner Brothers in 2017. The logline reads, a rookie female Marine gets stranded on a hostile planet during humanity's space colonization. So I'll just tell you guys a bit about the story. Essentially, it follows a rookie Marine called Atlas who is sent on a mission with her regiment to essentially clear out this new planet that's filled with rebels so that a mining facility can come in and start mining. And essentially, we're basically thrown right into the action by about page 10. And her team is ambushed, and she's the only survivor left, and she has to essentially make it back before her spacesuit that she's wearing runs out of fusion power. So, and that's essentially the whole script. So right from the start, I think I'll start with the good. And the thing was, it's a very fast script. Recently, I've read quite a few action scripts, and each of them, there's something very appealing about them because each of them can be read so quickly, like maybe hour and a half, depending on how many pages it is. This one was about 100 pages. So I think there's something very appealing about that because as a reader, it's much more pleasant to know that you'll get through a whole story in less amount of time. The writing was pretty crisp. It did get a bit repetitive at times. There's only so many ways you can describe action scenes of her like shooting using her exosuit or her evading bullets. And there was a lot of this type of imagery that you'd never really seen before. So, for example, she's getting shot at so many times. She has this very unique exosuit that's kind of like what you see in video games, and she can just keep getting hit, and the suit will keep taking the bullets. And I don't know, I just thought it kind of like the Matrix in the second Matrix movie where Keanu Reeves was just unstoppable and he's invincible and there's nothing that can hurt him. It just kind of it loses the sense of tension in the action because she is mortal and she can get damaged, and there is many scenes of her getting injured and her leg getting broken and all that, but it's just it took away the whole, like I said, the tension of the action scenes when we have all these like rebels, and you kind of feel bad for the rebels because they're shooting her, they're getting her, and it's kind of like when you're in a video game playing Call of Duty and you're just getting shot at so many times, but it doesn't matter, you can still kill all the AI characters. It was the same thing here, so it kind of actually made me lose empathy for our protagonist because she almost seemed like overpowering. Like she had this OP status where she's able to absorb their bullets and shoot at them and have this overpowering exosuit, whereas the other rebels just have these straightforward guns. So I think it was kind of playing this fine line where on one hand the Marine is an underdog in that she has to escape from this unknown planet and she's facing hordes and hordes of rebels, but on the other hand she has this crazy suit and almost like immortality status. So it's like it was hard as a reader to sometimes feel that much empathy for her. I almost felt bad for the rebels half the time when they were just getting slaughtered by her suit. That being said, there were other elements about the suit that were interesting. I like the aspect that the writer brought in where she's running out of fusion power, and that was a unique kind of twist to it where she has to judge, okay, do I want to shoot here or do I want to use this missile or this rocket. That added a bit more of a difference to it. I also like Gibson and the AI component. I always like it when writers just have a character talking to an AI. It's always interesting, and there were some funny moments. And overall, I like the character of Gibson. But the interesting thing is, now we're getting to a bit of the flaws. There was not enough, I felt, in Atlas where, as a reader, you want to root for her. So the writer gave her this flaw of she dropped out of medical school to be with her boyfriend, and the boyfriend kind of just used that. And then when he was done, he just kind of left her. And it was very hard to empathize with her because it didn't seem like she was. It didn't seem like it was such a bad thing that had happened to her. If you compare this, for example, to Gravity, and there were so many similarities with it because it's about a woman stranded in space, essentially. In Gravity, you felt more empathy for Sandra Bullock's character because she had lost her daughter. She didn't have a reason to live anymore, and she was just kind of going through life. And it seemed like her journey. It seemed like as you went through the film of Gravity, you grew with her on this journey. In this script, we do have some growth, but it's very vanilla. It's very just black and white. Like she's to be independent and learning to be on her own and be self-sufficient and overcome her adversities. So I didn't feel like at the end when I'd finished the script, I didn't feel like I'd really grown with the character. I didn't feel that much empathy for the character. In a weird way, I felt like I knew more about Gibson and the AI as opposed to Atlas. And so I think that ultimately left the journey a bit unsatisfying because all you're reading then is an empty action script where this person's is just shooting her way out of a situation. And it felt in that way like a video game or or an arcade game where you're going through the motions, but you're not really getting that character arc or that emotional journey where you really resonate with the character. And this problem also extended to the villains as well. So we have this whole character of the rebels, and there was no nuance to the rebels at all. We didn't really understand. Like there was no conflict. It was just the rebels are bad people. They're kind of like these pirates, and they're stealing from the mines and the resources, and that's it. And I thought that made the action even more empty because now it's like you don't have this sense of great conflict between two opposing forces. It's just one profiteering company, which is the Marines, against another profiteering company, which is pirates. And so you didn't really want the supposed good guys or Atlas to win. Like there was just two bad sides going against each other who are just trying to profit from this space colonization. So I didn't really feel like there was any nuance to the characters. It would have been more interesting if these rebels, as they're called, were more like the original settlers on the space, on the planet, and then they are now trying to resist this colonization and resist this exploitation that Atlas represents. And I think that would have been a bit more interesting and a bit more nuanced. But right now it's just empty action and two forces that are also just empty opposing each other. So I think that part could also be improved. It just took me out of the action and made me even more kind of apathetic to what was going on. I know the review is kind of sounding harsh. I mean, I don't believe that this is a bad script. Like I said, it was very fast paced. You could get through it very quickly, and it had cool action scenes in it, and I was somewhat entertained. But just having a lack of character relation to Atlas, and also then like the villains not being good, it just kind of took me out, and I was just kind of waiting for the time to expire. So I just didn't feel like I felt if the characters had been buffed up more, then it would have been more entertaining and more engaging. And so I think that part can be improved. So I think this is more good, not great rating. It wasn't fantastic. It didn't knock your socks off, but again, it did sell and it was featured on the blacklist. So I think as new writers, there's always something that we can learn from these types of scripts. But let me know what you guys thought and if you agree. And thanks for watching.